Hello, a warm welcome to you. I am Dr. Kunal Rawal from SGT University. In the following video, we have Professor Upendra Bakshi, former Vice Chancellor, Delhi University, expressing his views on academic leadership freedom and research ethics in law and social sciences, perspective of India and Malaysia. So, let's hear Sir's opinion.
Good morning to all of you. And we are in a very distinguished gathering. My distinguished co-panelists in the first place, Professor Datuk. So it's a very happy kind of reunion of old friends and some new friends, and I welcome you all to this occasion. So academic leadership, I don't propose to speak on any particular subject excepting some thoughts on ethics in research. But I've never been to a seminar on academic leadership so far. So I propose to learn from what you have to say. I think the only leadership that I know consists of being led well. And a university is not a place, certainly at least both in India and Malaysia, is not a place of camp followers. I do wanted to say something about draft education policy, which is, I learned this morning itself, has now been the word Draft National Education Policy 2019, issued by the Government of India, has now become the education policy, and there is no more draft. And it's a much smaller volume compared to the very long thing that I had studied, which also called itself Draft Education Policy. They're both 2019 documents. And I had based my remarks on what was chapter 14 in the draft education policy, which has now become section 18 of the new education policy, both in 2019. So nobody can say that we do not move with times. Nothing remains forever a draft. We come to a conclusion very rapidly. And that is, I think, the same is true of Malaysia, that we don't like, we move on. And Malaysia led the third world, if I may say so, actually led. And how to get under the skin of leadership? By using consumerism and welfare of consumers, he could do alternate politics safely and soundly. So when there is soft authoritarianism or charismatic constitutionalism, you can do a lot by speaking to social needs, then speak about politics. This is doing politics in a different way. So the only thing that still I remember very strongly about from the Consumers Association is what I saw in KL, which was only two things. I won't mention Durian so early in the morning. The only thing I remember about Malaysia very vividly, even till today, is that on the road, everywhere in the road signs, near the road sign, it was written Awas. And it means in Bhasha, it means in English, be careful, beware. Am I right? Awas. And I wrote a long paper titled Awas, Legal Education and Research Ahead, and presented it to my Malaysian colleagues and friends. I don't have that to the pre-computer era. So when you talk with distinguished Malaysian friends, it might be a good idea to remember Awas. Essentially, what the draft education policy said, the early document, that it was necessary to incentivize research at a national level. And there was an assurance of nearly 0.1% of GDP to be dedicated to a body called National Research Foundation. I don't know whether it exists in Malaysia or not, we hope to learn. But this was proposed with a grant of rupees 20,000 crores to this foundation. And it is like to be set up very soon. The section 18 of the final policy does not have all that kind of prose, but it has the same idea of the structure and the function of the National Research Council. That was very curious from Manjula's point of view, her kind interpretation. So I think accountability is very important. I use the word, instead of accountability, responsibility. But from my struggles with Union Carbide, I learned that responsibility smells of corporate social responsibility. And Derrida has a thorough observation which speaks about responsibility, not responsibility. Both accountability and responsibility are different from responsibility. How do universities respond to social change? And how does research make our response more responsible, responsible, moving from one situation to another? To whom should be a researcher accountable, including a legal researcher? And I just now rattle off some answers to that difficult question. One answer is individualism. That is, you must be accountable to yourself and none else. That is how many academics define accountability. That be above all, said Hamlet, be true to thyself, to yourself. The second is, and this is found in sciences and technology, accountability to peer groups. A UNESCO convention called Lima Declaration of 80s. So in 80s, a group of us worked on this German concept of accountability, of academic freedom. German concept is that academic freedom is freedom not only to teach, but the freedom of learners to learn. So here accountability becomes a bit messy, because we as teachers like to say we are accountable and what we are doing is right. The other side is to be assumed, taken for granted as a captive audience. Once you introduce the freedom of learners to learn as an aspect of academic freedom, things become very, very complex. A curriculum is quite different from a syllabus. So third we went to syllabus. I had a difficult time educating people about the distinction between the two. Employment of our students is provided by market and the state. They are the principal employers. And if we don't think about in which way our teaching and research help our students in these directions, then we are not doing the right thing, then we are not being accountable. Similarly, community, market is linked to state, state and market are linked to community. And what role can teachers play in these equations, that power and resistance? As far as India is concerned, and I'll possibly end now, I've taken too long. As far as India is concerned, the problems are partly solved by the Constitution of India. It's a lovely document, I just love it. To love your Constitution is a very difficult job, I know. But of education, this, education, right, we need to follow what we have and add to this list of values if necessary. But I think the 10 values are enough starting point for meta-ethics of research. So I think I've taken a lot of your time. I didn't mean to, and I'm sorry if I've trespassed on fields not intended by you to be covered. I wish the deliberations plenty of good luck.
I hope the video provided some insight, knowledge and better understanding of the topic. We will see you in the next video. Till then, keep learning, keep growing